over the weekend, I heard a story that's not true. Haha. Over the weekend, I heard something that kind of disturbed me a little. I was at a talk, and a guy was talking about a story from the Bible, and his interpretation of it kind of bothered me. Maybe you've heard it before. It's the story of a rich man who comes to Jesus, and he's like, "Hey, Jesus, I want to get to heaven. I want to be a holy person. How do I live my life to get to heaven? What do I need to do?" And Jesus says, "Well, you can follow the commandments. You need to follow the laws and do all." And the guy's like, No, I know. I do all that stuff. I follow the commandments. I do all the rules, all that kind of stuff." And then Jesus says, "Well, if you do all that, then you need to sell all your possessions, give the money to the poor, and follow me." Easy, right? No? Maybe not? And the guy's like, whoa. But I have a lot of stuff, and I'm not going to do that. So the guy walks away sad because he's rich, and he doesn't want to do that. Now, the speaker said that this story was about getting rid of things internally that are hindering us from following God. And it wasn't really about money. And that kind of bothered me because I think it was really about money. This wasn't a story that Jesus was making up. This wasn't a parable that was a metaphor to teach a lesson. He was talking to a real rich guy and telling him, you need to sell your stuff if you want to get to heaven. You need to get rid of all your stuff and follow me. And I think that that is what God is trying to tell us. See, if you go on to read the book of Luke in the Bible, if you want to hear some minimalist quotes, you read the book of Luke. I'll put some more Bible quotes down below in the description. But also in the book of Luke, there's a point where Jesus says, no one can be my disciple unless he gets rid of all his possessions and follows me. I don't think that's just talking about internal possessions. I don't think that's just talking about, spiritual or emotional struggles we have, or anger or hurt that we're holding on to. I think those things are good too, but I think that God is really saying, get rid of your stuff. It's distracting you from what's important in life. As someone who is sincerely striving to do this, I can tell you that it helps immensely. It is so helpful to get rid of all of the clutter, all of the possessions that we have. Living in a first world country, we have so much stuff and we don't need it. Why do we have it all? We're trained from the minute we're born to be consumers. But if you want to live radically, if you want to live for a purpose, you need to cut out everything in your life, everything in your house, in your room, everything that you own should be meaningful and truly add value to your life. The more stuff you have, the less it's all worth. That's true for anything. If you go to someone's bookshelf, let's say you go to someone's bookshelf and they have 1,000 books. In a way you might think, oh, that's awesome. It's this beautiful. My wife loves the part in Beauty and the Beast when the Beast shows Belle his giant library and he's like, look at all my books, and oh, it's wonderful. It's so magical and beautiful. But how many of those books has anyone read? How many of those books has the Beast read? How many of those books add meaning or value to anyone's lives? Or are they just sitting there looking pretty? Now, you go to someone's house and you see their bookshelf and there's one book on it, you're going to be interested. That's going to mean so much more than all the other books because that is the one book they have chosen to have in their house. So you see, the idea is you get rid of all that stuff that doesn't mean as much to you and you try to get it down to the stuff that really adds value to your life. And I'll tell you that when you have less stuff, it means more. You're less attached to things and you're able to really focus on what matters to you. You're not distracted by all these things. Oh, I gotta take care of this. I have to clean all these dishes. I have to do all this laundry or figure out what I'm gonna wear. You can just breathe and put on your one outfit and read one of your few books and really focus on what you care about. You should decide what you care about. Don't let consumerism tell you that you need to care about all these things. You need to just cut out the excess. Okay, so if you want to find God, if you want to build a relationship with God, if you want to find enlightenment, if you want to find out why you're here on this earth, if you want to figure out what it means to be human and what you need to do to become the best version of yourself, if you want to strive to live radically and for a purpose, then you need to get rid of all your crap. Get rid of it. You don't need it. You don't.